Did I lose money? As didn't turn up, didn't even pay.
Wow.
I will never know to this day what actually happened. But
On the edge, whilst listening to you, I was like, wow, where is she going with this? What happened? Welcome to Breakthrough Moments with Sandy, the place where people share real stories behind their biggest breakthroughs. Every episode is a heart to heart about life, faith, business, grief, healing, and anything else in between. Nothing polished, nothing perfect, just honest moments that have shaped who we are today. And I'm your host, Sandy Chinagure, the founder of Soaringpreneurs. And I love to create a space where women feel seen, supported, and inspired to rise again. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's have a conversation. And let's dive in today's breakthrough moments. Today's guest is someone who knows how to navigate pressure, responsibility, and real leadership on the spot. Becky is the founder of Miss B Group Travel. She has handled some unbelievable challenges, from unexpected booking issues to financial hurdles. What I love most about her story is how she kept moving, kept learning, and kept leading, even when things were messy. Welcome. It's a pleasure having you here today with us.
oh, thank you so much, Sandy. Do you know what? And that was a lovely intro. Thank you so much. Now I'm feeling a bit cold again. Sorry. So I'm going to take this on. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right. So let's dive into today's conversation. Becky, let's start right at the beginning. Can you share a bit about yourself? We want to know who Becky Chikara is and what has led you to be where you are today. Can you share a bit about your journey with us so we get to know you a bit more and what
Okay.
you're all about?
Thanks, Sandy. So my name is Becky Chikara. I'm a mother and wife, mother of two boys. And my day with Miss B Group Travel has just been a combination of passion, purpose, and lived experience. So I've always been the organizer in my circle, the one who plans the trips, researches locations, and make sure everybody feels included. And it is with the day and the age of social media, I kept having people inboxing me saying, "Oh, you're always traveling. I'd love to travel with you." Da, da. And I just said, "Oh, do you know what? I'm thinking of setting something up." And initially, when Miss B started, it was supposed to be the idea was mother and daughter bonding trip away times. I don't have any daughters, so I thought this would be a nice thing to do, but I was thinking about my mother and myself. But when I started
Oh,
venturing into this industry, I realized that actually it's the mothers that need a break
wow.
from the,
Wow.
from the home life. And I will say to you that over time, I just realized that seeing the world of travel is not just for me, it's for everyone. And I wanted to create a safe and empowering experience for women because some women had the money, but they did not have the
Mhm.
know how or the person
Yeah.
to go with. Because we all come from different backgrounds, and it may not even be a financial situation. It might be that you can't leave your kids alone. So, I wanted to create a space where people don't have to struggle to think about planning it. What am I going to do when I'm away? The safety issues, or has anybody ever been there? And just a relaxing bonding girls time. So that is how Miss B started. So it's just an environment on its own, and the passion just slowly grew into a business. I literally just started it part-time, and I will say to anybody that's watching that's in business, one of the first pieces of advice I would say to you is no matter what your passion is, just jumping in without a little bit of research can lead you to have more challenges down the line. My first trip, one of the first biggest trips that I organized was for my birthday, and I had 40 ladies and we were going to Malta. So I think it was a trial by fire because everything that you want to learn, from inviting 40 people to the booking, to the hotels, to the flights, to the cancellations, to two women falling pregnant because we booked it 10 months in advance. So falling pregnant
Wow.
between the time and not being able to
Wow.
travel. So there is a lot of things that just went into that organization. And also because these are friends and I asked them to bring a friend if they want to bring a family member. So I think I was given an easier transition into the business. But if I was to start it all over again, I would not, definitely would not do it that way. And so maybe I'll answer your question in two parts, because when you
Mm-hmm.
introduced me, you said some of the challenges. And now my first
That.
trip that wasn't to do with my family or friends, that I just advertised and said to people, guys, let's go to Paris, all intents and purposes. And I'm really saying this for someone who maybe he started a business and just things went all wrong, or wants to start something and afraid of things going wrong. If I had gone by what happened with my first trip, I would not be here today, and I would have just stopped, and I would encourage anyone to keep going. In brief, I'll tell you what happened. I advertised a day trip to France. 20 ladies said, yes, we'll come. I wrote down everybody's name. I went on to EasyJet and I said, guys, these are the prices of the tickets. It's going to be like, I think it was like £49 return. And I went ahead and I put my own money to buy those tickets
Wow.
without
Oh.
any deposits, without any contract,
Wow.
without anything. Right. So this is how
Wow.
much faith I had that these people also need that break. And this is amazing. We're advertising it.
Yeah.
I'm putting it on my socials, and three people paid their money, and it was £100, the whole thing, including transfer, train, and a lunch. We were just going to go first morning flight and come back the last flight of the day. And from those 20 people, only
Mm-hmm.
four ended up turning up. So not
Wow.
only did I lose money as you start, 16 people didn't turn up, didn't even pay.
Wow.
It was excuse after excuse.
Ooh.
And I come from a background of, I'm not going to cancel for the ones that made the commitment, that want to. This is not their fault. This is something that I should have looked at. And that is something that was the first lesson that, this is why airlines and certain businesses have to take a deposit to secure that,
Yeah.
because I had lost money. And imagine that was my first
Wow.
business. I lost 16 tickets worth of money, and I still had to pay for myself to go, and I still had to go and entertain these ladies and still do the work around that particular trip. So I'll never forget that. And I remember posting on the group saying what's going on with people, who's coming, and so we could do the ticketing. And I remember one lady saying to me, oh no, but that's cancelled. And I said, well, no, it's not. I'm still the organizer and I'm going. How can it be cancelled? And it was just some sort of communication with one lady that wanted to go, and because she couldn't go, she just said to her friends, no, 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 we're not going. We're cancelling. And so the rest of them just decided to cancel. I will never know to this day what actually happened, but it was just, unfortunately, that's just what happened. So when you sit there and you think, I've spent this amount of money, it's £50 by whatever, that's a good
Yeah.
£800. I know people have lost bigger amounts of money, but if that
Yeah.
was an indication of not to start a business, or if that was an indication of things going wrong in business, that was my first trial into this lovely business that we have.
Wow. And Becky, what year was that when you
that was
started this
in,
business?
that was in 2016.
Oh, wow. That's 9 years ago, right?
Yes. Yes, we're celebrating 10 years next year in February.
Yay!
Ah,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. Do you know, I will take that congratulations, because remember, I don't know whether I should say 10 years or maybe 7 years, because we
Mhm.
had about 2.5 to 3 years of COVID where there was no travel. So there is no business.
Right. Oh,
Yes.
yes. Do you mind, now that you've brought up COVID, do you mind just touching on what was happening during that time with your business? Because we know
So
most people found it hard to travel. You had to get vaccinated. A lot of things had to happen, and a lot of people were not really traveling at that time. So, how did you handle that hurdle?
that was a major shift. So initially, we had trips that were on pending to go. We lost a bit of money, but touch wood, it wasn't a lot. we had to obviously do refunds. And at that stage, when the global pandemic occurred, airlines had to give us back our money. So at least we were covered in that way. Insurances had to started being a bit not on the level side, but we were able to navigate that side. And then, of course, the business itself, nobody was traveling. You couldn't go anywhere. So that came to a complete stop. However, being someone that is in that business realm, we started to pivot. And we used to,
Right.
on our site, I used to just dabble and sell a bit of travel toiletry bags or whatever. So that's when we fully expanded our e-commerce shop. And you will find it on our website. We've got a shop there where we sell a host of travel goods, passport covers, and toiletry bags. And that's when it really started to go into that side of things and opening that up on eBay and other e-commerce sites, because at that time that was what was available to us. A lot of people were shopping online. Do you know what I mean? So your
Yeah.
Instagram, your Facebook. So it then actually became a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because that then allowed me to look at opportunity and do digital trainings, expand a little bit more onto a YouTube channel on and off. So there was a lot going on because I was still working from home as well, and had the kids which who needed to be taught because they were not going to
Yeah.
school. So it was a challenging time for our business, but so this is why I'm holding on, and will continue to face things that come into this business with a very different outlook, because if we've survived that, we can survive anything, because that was 3 years of no travel. For a travel business, that is the business. Do you understand?
And I believe at that time you would have crumbled if you were not as strong as you are, or determined, or maybe you'd not had the kind of drive that you had. You would have crumbled
Mhm.
at that time within those 3 years of very low to no business.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
want to
definitely.
I just want to take you back, and I also want to take my audience back to the time that you had those ladies cancel, and the majority of them didn't even explain, they didn't even bother to let you know that that is what they were going to be doing. And you ended up with, I think you mentioned, four ladies. Is that correct? Can you take us through this? Just let us know what was going through your mind during that time.
Well, firstly, you get angry, and then, but my outlook, I suppose, for somebody, if you're just new to business or you've never done any sort of business, you will, you may crumble. But for me, I sat down and I looked at it and I got angry to begin with, I won't lie. And then I thought, what do I do? And then I had a conversation with my husband and I said, do you know what? Sometimes the greatest things that are due to start, they can start with a stumble. And then I also went back to my business plan, which was a bit shaky as well. And I said, what should I have done to secure and make sure that everybody who is coming, we've got some sort of a commitment for them? And following that trip is the first time we ever asked anybody coming on our trips to pay a deposit. It was a reflection for me. And I say this because I have previously been in a multi-level marketing with a skincare company. So business was not new to me. So setbacks like this weren't too much of a, of course, it was very upsetting because I'd paid the money. And it's some of those things that, yeah, you learn your lesson. It's a bit like a contract or whatever, verbal
Yeah.
contracts and agreements. Everybody knows they're not worth the paper they're written on, but it
Mhm.
now is the handshake and whatever. But I didn't want
Yeah.
to cancel it, because that would then, for me personally, it would not have sat well with me. And I would not want
Yeah.
to disappoint the people that have made the commitment, because it's not their fault. It was something that we should have done. And at least if I had known that it's only 4, 10 people or whatever that are coming, then I wouldn't be out of pocket. But I was very determined to be very happy and to make sure
Mhm.
that they enjoyed themselves. Now, the flip side of this, and I'm not saying this will happen to everybody, I
Yeah.
have then made two from those ladies, two very good close friends to this day, and travel with them a lot. And the other two ladies, one of them is a bit of a distance from us. She's always in
Mhm.
contact. They have referred clients and customers to me that I don't think I
Oh,
would have
nice.
seen if it wasn't that we had a small, intimate
Yeah.
bonding trip.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it is a lesson that was learned. There's beauty that came out of it, is that sometimes in business you've got to accept that you're going to earn or you're going to learn. And
Mm.
this lesson was a great lesson, although it cost about £850. But this is a low cost airline. This is flights in Europe. Imagine had that been a long haul flight, you're talking thousands of pounds. So for me, my motto is you either earn or you learn. The first one, we learned.
Wow, I love that, Becky. I love that motto. I'm gonna keep it ingrained in my head. You learn or you earn. I
Yeah.
love it,
Yeah.
Becky. You've been in this industry for coming to 9 years now.
Mhm.
Have you ever had a case whereby you booked a hotel or something like that and you end up having a cancellation? Has that ever happened during your period of running this travel business?
Oh, yes, definitely. Do you mean cancellations by people or by the hotel? Or with
Both,
the end user?
either
Both.
hotel or people.
In the travel industry, cancellations are the name of the game. They are not good, but hence when people pay deposits, because when we secure a trip, for example, if we approach an airline or we do it on our own business networks, to secure that trip, we pay a deposit. So we pass that on
Mhm.
and we do advise people that deposits are non-refundable. So cancellations do occur, and sometimes it's out of somebody's control. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
family illness, sometimes it's a death in the family, sometimes the person themselves is unwell, or maybe their financial situation has changed from the time that they start, from the initial time that they booked. So it's a whole host of reasons that a person might cancel. Now, on the other side, cancellations by airlines or hotels are a little bit less few and far between, but I will share with you something that happened to us that was, thankfully, in the years that I've been in business, it's only happened once and nearly happened twice. But we live in a digital world where there's a lot of fraud that goes on. There's also a lot of protections that the banks offer us. Now, my bank knows that we're a group travel company. There are certain countries, especially with the offset of after COVID, there's certain countries that we will have an appointment agreement with them. We pay them maybe 50% deposit, and then they say you can pay this when you arrive because you've used our services for a long time or we've got a business relationship with them. It saves them in the exchange rates and stuff like that when you're able to pay cash or you're paying at the counter into their own currency. So they prefer it that way. Now, what happens is certain areas, and in this particular trip, my bank, I had put on my Wi-Fi at an airport, and someone had tried to, I suppose, go in and get some money. And it must have been one of those where I just tapped for a coffee or something like that. And
Wow.
then the bank noticed two different transactions trying to take money. And whilst I'm in the UK, and it's now showing in USA within 10 minutes. So the
Wow.
bank, unbeknownst to me, then of course stopped that transaction
Mhm.
and blocked the card. Now I'm on the plane now. I've shut my phone, right? I'm a very obedient traveler. I've put on my phone to flight mode, and
Mhm.
our flight is 13 hours long, 13 hours. And the hotel we're going to stay, it was a busy time. There was a carnival in that area. They do have on their terms and conditions that we may take the payment a day before, which is not a
Mhm.
problem. We'd already paid them a 50% deposit, and we're just looking to get the payment when we arrive. For whatever reason, on that day, the hotel decided to try and take their payment. If it wasn't because my account had security lock checked, that would not have been a problem. But
Mhm.
because there was an issue, and then the bank seeing that a transaction has been attempted in another third country, another in Australia, they said no to the hotel. The hotel sent me a message, do you still want whatever? Because it's now this time and we try to collect money. Now remember, I am on a flight. I am
Oh,
not on, even if I was on Wi-Fi, if I had gone probably into the emails, but I wasn't on any of those gadgets. I'm enjoying my flight.
wow.
We've used this
Wow.
hotel so many times, and I land, I've got roaming, I switch on my roaming, literally coming out of the plane, I start to get these messages cancelled. And I'm like,
Wow.
what is going on? Now, remember, I have 10 ladies with me. None of them I've ever traveled with. I've just met them in the lounge. They're so excited about this trip. One of the ladies, it was her birthday. We'd even arranged something, and I'm seeing these cancelled. Now, in that
Wow.
moment, my heart literally dropped. Honestly, my heart, because when you're traveling, especially if this had happened and I'm back here and they're on their own and I've got time to arrange before they land, but my heart
Yeah,
dropped because you're traveling with a group, you're carrying the responsibility of somebody's well-being. And my first
absolutely.
thought was, these ladies have trusted me. I need
Hmm.
to find a solution quickly. I've been in this game for a long time. So immediately after the initial shock, my leadership kicked in. I rang the hotels, like, we tried to contact you. Da, da, da. I can't help it. It was my manager, but I've worked with you guys. We're coming from England. But you could see that this is a dying thing. There's a carnival there, there's a festival there. They're going to get a lot more money or whatever from us who booked 6 months before. And
Yeah.
even if I'm going to take it further, for now, the important thing is we need to get ourselves settled. So the first thing you have to
Mm.
do, and this is something that you will learn, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but this is something that you learn when you do travel and tourism, is I had to take away and separate my emotion from action. I'd taken my moment of shock. I breathed, I rang. And in the meantime, the ladies I'm with, they're taking pictures of the airport. I'm on the phone. I'm just sorting out my son, something. And they're like, oh, take your time, Becky. And they're at the hotel. People are going to the toilet. I'm phoning. I'm fine. It's not going to happen. So I started to look at an alternative. And this is another thing I'll say is it's very important that whatever industry that you're in, familiarize yourself with certain places. If you're not a traveler,
Mm.
please travel to that place maybe 2 or 3 times with your family or friends until you familiarize yourself with that sort of area. Because if it wasn't
Right.
because I've been in those areas and I know certain hotels and classes and whatever, so I was able to say, fine, the nearest hotel to this, because remember, we had a girl who had a birthday, so there's some things
Mm.
that were arranged, so we had to be near. So I say, right, we're fixing it. So I looked at nearby hotels, same level, 5 star, checked availability, and I just literally just rang them from the airport, and I just said, look, I don't want to go online. I've had an emergency. I need this many rooms. Da, da, da. And they said, fine. And somehow God was in my favor because there was a festival at
Wow.
that time. And they
Wow.
said to me, oh, and one of the ladies said, and I gave her my name, and she said, oh, we see you stayed with us. And I said, yes, that's me. Thank you. And I said, even if they've got 8 best rooms, I will sleep in the worst room. It doesn't matter as long as these ladies have got somewhere to sleep. And amazingly, I think sometimes the world and God aligns. I believe in God, so I just say God
That's
aligned
right. Me
because,
too, definitely.
fix
Yeah.
it. And she checked availability and she said, oh, but can you pay when you arrive? Because for an, I said, listen, I will give you cash if I have to go to the cash machine and get it. I just wanted to
Hey,
make
can I interrupt you for a minute? At this stage, at this point, did the
Mhm.
ladies know that is what was really going on at that time?
No. There was no
Wow.
reason to panic them then because we still had to walk through customs, immigration, get our bags. And when you're traveling with a group of ladies, sometimes that can take a while. And we
Yeah.
already had a driver, so that wasn't a problem. But they did not know at all. And even to this day,
Wow.
none of them knew. So what we ended up doing, and none of them had ever been to that place. And to be honest, sometimes because of the type of packages we do, people will say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I want to know what hotel we stay. Are we going there?" But in their heads, some of they won't comprehend it. So once I'd secured the hotel, and I said to them, "Listen, I'll give you the card, but we'll be there in literally an hour because we're at the airport and stuff like that." And she
Yeah.
said, "No, we've got a
Yeah.
pre-card for you before. If we're able to hold that, and then you just pay us cash because." By this stage, the card is not working. So it's not only that I
Wow.
don't have my bank has blocked the card, right? Because they think it's fraudulent. I'm trying to get hold of them. They're sending me saying authorization thing, which is a text message, is not coming through. So to further just not put myself in more stress, I just said, forget
Yeah.
it. I have to pay you cash. right? Or whatever
Mhm.
cash that I've got. And so they said, fine. I said, you can pre-hold that card, but it might not work because my bank is thinking. Anyway, for whatever reason, she said, fine, as long as you're here within an hour, you do know we've got a festival, but we've held these rooms for you. And I just went in, we got our bags, we were singing all the way. And I just said to the driver, you're dropping us off at the next hotel. And the driver said, oh, and I said, no, 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 just a mistake on that. I had to do it just gently and softly with him. And he was, oh, fine, it's the same area. It's not going to change anything. We arrived there. The hotel were brilliant. And I remember speaking to one of the ladies. I said to her, and I was standing there, and next to me, I will never forget this Portuguese lady. She had a much bigger group than me, but she'd come for a
Mhm.
festival, and she had a list of people's names and she's crossing out and whatever. And she was going through her own, the number of rooms that they had was not fitting the number of people. So she was
Yeah.
missing rooms, and she's sitting there at the reception trying to sort it out. I'm just like, oh
Wow.
my God, I'm here with my group. I just took out my personal credit card and I
Mm.
just said, fix it, Jesus, because I don't even know if there's enough money in there. My personal credit card, all the cash that I had to pay the hotel. And the ladies, they're busy taking pictures in the lobby. So it was just like, and the only time we approached them is to say, can we have your passports to hand this in? And I remember sitting there thinking, oh my God, if I tell you that things went perfect, no, the card would not go through. My own personal card would not go through. So I said to the, and this is so funny because it's funny now. And the lady was like, maybe our system. And I, and I said to her, here's what we're going to do. Maybe my credit card is not going to take £5,000 at the same time. So I said, let me tell you what you can do. Let's take the payment for tonight, for every room for tonight, because like you said, maybe a system. And for me, it gives me a chance to sort out with my, just phone the bank and tell them that I'm here.
Yeah.
Maybe this is now on my own personal card, right? So she said, fine. She took that. I also had cash, and I said to her, so she took the first night on the card because they do need a card for certain things. So she ended up just taking one night,
Mm.
and then whatever cash that I had, I gave her. I said, at least we're here for the night. So I think after that, I was kind of left with maybe £200, and we still had activities that were cash based to do. So once everybody's checked in, everybody's relaxed, and the person I was sharing a room with, I just said, I'm now going downstairs. I just need to sort something out. So I went to their business center. Now I'm on the phones with my bank, trying to, and because of the timing, some of the customer services is closed, but I'm on the phone with the bank. I'm on the phone with my personal bank. I'm on the phone with my husband. You need to put some money in my account. I'm trying to get Western Union to send money to myself because I'm like, this hotel's going to kick us out in the morning. I don't think they would, but it was just one of
Yeah.
those things that it catapults. And if I tell you, Sandy, in
Mhm.
my business at that stage, there was the most money I've ever had in the business. There was six figures in there, but the account
Wow.
was blocked, and there's nothing you can do.
Oof.
So, if anything that you can learn from here is, if you're going to
Yeah.
do this type of business, always have something extra, because this had never happened. So if I could have transferred some money.
Yeah.
And because when you're in a panic situation, again, you don't think, you're all whatever. Because the next day,
Absolutely.
even though the bank had blocked my card, when I
Yeah.
managed to speak to them, they said, oh, you can still transfer to yourself. But it is one of those things. But that
Yeah.
experience will teach you a lot about leadership, because our ethos is about, you don't have to worry about anything. We will do the booking, we'll choose the
Hmm.
hotels, we'll choose the
Yeah.
activities. So that's why my first instance wasn't to let these group know that this has happened or whatever. It's, if we can sort it, you don't need to stress people, because people come from different walks of life.
Absolutely.
People
Yeah.
come for
Yeah.
different reasons. So that's where you've got to put your leadership skills, and also remember, the group feeds off your energy. So if you're worried and stuff like that, but if you're calm, you're focused, confident, the group will stay grounded as well.
Absolutely. Wow. I love the way you handled this whole thing, Becky. Seriously, it was amazing.
I just,
Had to take someone with a very, what can I say, some form of strength to be able to deal with that situation in that way without the ladies having to pick up or notice that something is not right.
Oh,
That was
laughing.
really,
We were laughing
yeah,
and
that,
singing. If you see our videos, you would never even think.
oh, wow. So, Becky, tell me, what did that teach you about your leadership skills? The way you dealt with this whole situation?
I think, like I said, when I did the travel and tourism course and things about stressful situations, crisis management, anybody who deals with travel and even airlines have to have some sort of crisis management training. So you think about, so okay, what if I panic, then what happens? Because you're the organizer. If you panic and you're the organizer, where do you leave people? What do you expect them to do?
Yeah.
If one of them had been a friend of mine, I could have taken them aside and said, "Oh, look, this is what's happened. Do you understand?" But again, that wouldn't be fair because if somebody's paid their funds, I just feel that if I was unable to resolve it, then this is a time that I'll say, "Guys, this is what's happened." Da, 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 and then this is the solution that I'm thinking of. But at that stage, you don't want to give a little bit of non confidence to people on something that is easily fixable. Again, like I said, you either earn or you learn. The hotel we went into, although it was the same standard, 5-star as well, because of that last minute, it cost me, it ate into our profit. It cost us an extra 1,800. Do you understand?
Wow.
So one of the things that I've learned, that we continuously learn from that is, especially with these events and festivals and things like that, I refuse to pay when we arrive, especially if it's a country where the currency, because the country, they would rather the foreign currency directly rather than it comes through these channels. So I would just rather pay in advance now. We do pay a lot of 70% of our trip is already paid for, but I just pay when we are prior to us traveling, way prior, not just for that reason, but for other reasons in case one of us, or if it's especially if it's a catered trip, if one of us can't make it, then at least we want to make sure that they're covered. So for a variety of reasons we do that, but that was also
And that makes absolute sense, to be honest. In case there are any hiccups that can happen, the same incidents whereby your bank blocks things whilst you're on the plane. So that helps to, if anything like that comes up, that really helps when you pay in advance.
definitely,
So, Beck,
definitely.
what advice can you give someone who is currently in the travel business or any other business and they've just started their business, and or maybe they haven't started their, they are in business and they're just going meeting a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles.
Okay.
Based on what you have gone through, what kind of advice can you give them?
Wow, we go through quite a lot of challenges. And what I would say to anybody in whatever business that you are thinking, stay committed to the vision. So if you have a vision in front of you and you have a goal, no matter what happens, stay committed to the vision, even when the circumstances don't look perfect. Your passion might just start with a small seed, but
Hmm.
consistency, resilience, and
Yeah.
willingness to learn will make it grow. And most
Wow.
importantly, don't be afraid to ask for help. Community, mentorship, collaboration,
Yeah.
these are not optional in business, they are survival tools. And when I say community, I'm not talking about, oh, your sort of Zim or African or European community. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the community in the business that you're in, the
Yeah.
travel community. I'm a member in the group travel organizers, and those communities are very vital to you learning. Apply for trade memberships or be in trade
Okay.
memberships, attend seminars as well. Regarding mentorship, it's very good to have a mentor. I couldn't afford all the mentors that I wanted, but when I had mentors at that time, it really did move and make me look at other areas of my business. Collaborations, and I know that collaborations, they can be hit and miss, but collaborations are very important. One of the ladies I collaborated with a long time ago, and we've become friends. She's also in the travel industry, and I was going to a country I had never been to, with the exception of stopping by that airport as you're connecting flights. And I had this very amazing trip, and I said to her, "Listen, I want to do this. I know you've been to this, whatever. I'm willing to pay for info." And she was like, "No, She gave me info, gave me who to contact, and she set me in a great path. And for me, I was not actually
Wow.
expecting that. So it is very important to collaborate. People misunderstand collaboration with taking over a business or copying. I know that word is out there. So collaboration and networking will be the lifeline of your business as well. And it's very
Yeah.
important you collaborate with the right people. And I can't tell
Yeah.
you who the right person is, but you will have a feel, because if you're giving more than you're getting, that's not the right
Yeah.
person. You
Yeah.
should be leveling out to, anytime I speak to someone, I must learn something, or they must learn something from me too.
Yeah. Right. I love it. You've spoken about networking, the power of networking, and I also
Mhm.
believe your network is your net worth.
Definitely.
And on that note of networking, what is something that you can share with us? Was there a real moment whereby you felt that you were stepping out of your comfort zone?
There has been many. When people look at this business, so one of the challenges, again, with the travel business, and I'll mention it in answer to your question, but I'll just give you a little bit of a preface. So the
Hmm.
hardest part of balancing affordability for my clients and the
Hmm.
rising travel costs worldwide, and the
Yeah.
accessibility of information, especially for women who might be traveling for the first time or for regular travelers. So, to navigate that and create a structured payment plan, improving budgeting systems and forecasting costs, negotiating better deals and stuff like that, all of those have been things that I've had to take out of my comfort zone. So that financial aspect has to take you out of your comfort zone. Getting an office as opposed to working from home, it was something like, but where are you going to see your clients? This is that, and whatever. Making a decision to say, we're going to do this trip, you're going
Mm.
to hire this boat, or you're going to hire
Mm.
this yacht, and they want
Yeah.
to hold £5,000 in case somebody damages their product. It's not like in Dubai where it will be less, but these are other countries where they don't have yachts that much. So having that, it's something that takes you out of your comfort zone to say, am I going back to that first mistake that I made? And things don't happen. Again, with the office, moving into an office, getting staff on, because remember, what happened with COVID is not just financial, it's also psychological,
Yeah.
because you now think, what if that happens again? What if something of that nature occurs? See, I think in travel, for me, every period of whatever journey I take, I move out of my comfort zone. The best one, though, for last year was dealing with some embassies that we deal with. And I remember the lady just ringing me and said, "Oh, I got your number from it." So they went on a trip and they said, "You might be able to help. Well, we are looking for this." Da, da, da. And then I said, "Oh, I'll be able to help." And I'm sitting there. And then she said, "Cool." And then 2 minutes later, she said, "We'll do a Zoom call." And I'm sitting there and I'm facing this ambassador and he's asking me questions.
Wow.
And I'm like, I nearly said, I don't think we'll be able to do it. I don't think we'll be
Hmm.
able, because it was a last minute thing and there was some cancellations of people from their country, so they needed to do something local and something semi-local, so in connect, and there was quite a lot of things that needed to be done. So I spent a whole weekend doing it, and I had to do this within 2 weeks because the event was going to be in 2 weeks. And it really stretched me, because now I then started getting in touch with the event holders and this, that, the other. And like I said, to be in any sort of business, whatever faith you
Yeah.
believe in, you need to believe in it to the most. Because when that happened, and then I sat down and eventually said, wow, did I just do this? And when I say I, because I had nobody in the team, I had no, I said, did I just, did this, I'm just like, thank you so much, the ambassador was saying to me, Your Honor.
Wow.
I didn't even know how to. I know that you speak to them a certain way, but there's a certain
Yeah.
way that you. And he's saying, hey, we want this, we want that. And I'm thinking, this man, obviously, I don't know, whatever they told them about me, this was
Yeah.
not my comfort zone. I'm used to dealing with
Yeah.
ladies. We're going away, and this. Now I'm doing a two-part and this. And it continued with, we've arrived. This one wants to do this. Oh no, a friend is coming. And you're sitting there nearly 18 hours, maybe of no sleep and things like that. But
Mm.
from there, it has also expanded our business because we've had other people from their particular team say, "Oh, who did this? You're the lady who did this. Do
Wow.
you do this?" So every time now, if something comes onto my plate, we'll look at it feasibly, and yes, we can do this, or we will try, or I will definitely research it before we say we're not going to be able to do it. It is,
Yes,
there's always moments that present themselves. And currently at the moment
absolutely.
as well, showing up on social media and things like that. I I'm not always naturally somebody who stays behind the scenes. If you look at my social media now, I'm not all the time posting and things like, because there's a lot of things that
Yeah,
go on behind the scenes that I
yeah,
now know.
that's right.
Like I said, if I had started with this knowledge and stuff like that, there's a lot more revenue and whatever to be made behind the scenes. And one of the funny things that I'll tell you in the
Mm.
shift to attract clients, the reason why these embassy, and it's three now that I deal with, the reason why they chose us to handle and even the trips for the women or their wives was when they looked on our
Yeah,
social media, there wasn't all that fakey stuff and all that. Look at me, people sitting in
yeah,
pools and nakedness. And it was a lot of, hey, there's info, there's
yeah,
sisterhood, there's movement, and
yeah.
there is just a bit of culture because we
Realness.
do, there's a real bit of realness. And what people don't understand, as much as it's great to have a lot of numbers within your social media, it is also great to
Hmm.
provide a service that people will come back to you and provide a service that is transparent and true. I don't have enough hours to tell you about the travel industry can be very fake. And ourselves, we've gone to certain hotels, and once I remember we're in Dubai, and one lady was like, "Can I come in with you guys? Because the Atlantis Palm won't let you in unless you've got a key card or whatever." Because she
Yeah,
wanted to take pictures from that side, but she wasn't actually staying there.
mm,
But when you see them on the socials, they're portraying something that's not
yeah,
real. And
yeah,
so a lot of people now are, look, we want, it's more shift of clients in real partnerships, in real
yeah,
information, more credibility. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
So every time you have to
yeah,
push yourself out of your comfort zone. When I attend international fairs and people say, "Oh, Becky, I've met you here," or "I know you this," I push myself out when I'm negotiating with hotels and leading larger groups. The comfort zone, I don't think there's a comfort zone. I think when you're looking at a package and you say, even if it's just to pay the girls or pay our assistant or whatever, and you're looking at a package and the person wants this and what's available is a certain amount, and I'm picking up the phone and I'm saying to the Atlantis Royale, "I sent this many people to you last year. I did this many, so we
yeah.
need this dinner to be held here, and I
Mhm.
need these rates because there's different rates or whatever." Because you're sitting there thinking things have changed. So
Yeah,
comfort,
I
one,
have.
if I could say something last about the comfort zone, is your
Yeah.
comfort zone will never build you confidence. The only
Wow.
thing that's going to build you confidence is action.
Wow. I love that, Becky. Your comfort zone is not going to build you confidence.
No,
Wow. So confidence is built by and taking action outside your comfort zone. Wow. Thank
completely.
you so much, Becky. Wow. Thank you so much. It's been amazing having you. And thank you for being open, for being honest, and taking us through your journey. I hope one day you'll be able to come back and share with us about how the travel industry can be fake, because you mentioned something on that line. I would love to have you back on that. And before we close, Becky, if you can just let the audience know what exactly you do and where they can find you.
So we're a group travel business and we do trips for leisure and we do trips for business. So we do trips to Canton Fair, China. We do that twice a year. And not only do we do the Canton Fair, we do Guangzhou sourcing markets. So anybody who's interested in starting a business and looking for products and where to start, we are happy to help and we go with you. We also do have leisure trips advertised on our website, which is www.missbgrouptravel.com. And we are on all social platforms. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're on LinkedIn as well under the same name, missbgrouptravel.com. So Do subscribe for more up to date trips or follow us on our socials. On our website, we are updating and sending and updating info for you, travel tips, travel information, and soon we will be starting a subscription service. So look out for that. And thank you so much, Sandy, for this opportunity. It has been lovely to speak to you and bring back
It's been lovely
memories
as well.
of my money that went.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I've been on the edge whilst listening to you. I was like, wow, where is she going with this? What happened? Oh, I
Yeah,
absolutely love. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add Becky's details, her handles, her website, and everything. I'll put it in the comment section. So make sure you check out the comment section to make sure you know where to find Becky. Thank you so much, Becky. Thank you.
you're
Take
welcome.
care.
And thank you, Sandy. Take care
All
and
right,
good
take
luck
care.
with the podcast. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on Breakthrough Moments with Sandy. I hope today's conversation gave you something to reflect on, breathe through, or carry into your next chapter. And if this episode has encouraged you, share it with someone who needs this. And if you want more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe, like this channel, turn on the notification bell so that you don't get to miss any of the upcoming conversations that we will be having. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep taking those small, brave steps. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.